Our exciting interview with missionary Hannah Hunter today runs a little longer than a normal interview, but I want to encourage you to listen to the end. You'll hear some exciting stories, but also some important information about the time we're living in. Well, hello. Welcome to TMCI TV. We're so glad you could join us today. We have Hannah Hunter, missionary to Kenya, with us. And welcome, Hannah. We're so glad you could take the time to be here.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you asked me, Cheryl. It's my delight and joy to be with you.
You know, Bishop Coulter actually left the room because he always gets a little nervous when we get together. Well, no, I think he actually may, but that's not,
as he should.
yeah, as he should. You know, one of the things that I found so fascinating is knowing your background. How in the world did a girl from the Mennonite church end up as a missionary to Kenya?
Thank you. That's a good question. Literally, when I was a little girl, you know, women shouldn't be in leadership. And I was told I was so brazen, no one would marry me. And, but I just, you know, so I married an Episcopalian, so we had new blood. Anyway, it was just, you know, as a even young, I began to just look in the Bible and said, why aren't we doing some of these things, raising the dead, casting out demons? Wow. I got a hold of God and began to hold on to him for that. And I went ahead and got married. I was a nurse, which is a good profession for Mennonite, and married. But my husband and I began to get into the inner healing deliverance. We just believed God. We began to encounter people who were broken, demons, and fast forward, we were doing that when he had the audacity to die. So I was left alone.
Oh no.
And then fast forward maybe about 3.5 years, and I was saying, God, what do you want of me? Now, what do I walk alone? You walk as a couple in this. And I got an invitation to come to Kenya to do. They wanted a prophetic healer. So that's what they came. So I thought, okay, I'll go one time, because I argued with God. I don't even like to fly and all this kind of stuff. I didn't tell you, take me out, take me anywhere, but don't take me to Africa. I got there. We had an amazing time where we did see a lot of casting out demons, you know, and healing the sick. And I thought, wow, okay, I'm done this. I'm getting ready to go home. And the last night we're in the marketplace with thousands of people, and they announced that I'm coming back in April, that she's coming back in April. I said, who is she? And they said, you.
had to blindside you, didn't he?
Well, God's merciful to only give you what you can handle at that moment. If I would have looked where I'm now, I would have ran screaming and never went back.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. You know, one of the stories that I've heard a little bit about that I found very interesting is, how in the world did you escape from Maasai Warriors that wanted to stone you? Okay.
First of all, the part of Kenya that we're at is on Maasai land, and on the other side are the witch doctors. So we have a lot of tension going on there, but the Maasai openly carry their weapons at all times. So they're ready for a fight if you breathe wrong. And believe me, they become very volatile. We happened to be driving. I had an American with me, her first time there. Dan was in the back, and I had a Maasai driver. We were circumventing what looked like an accident. We were going around them, and all of a sudden we're surrounded by these angry warriors, and they looked fierce, and they have their swords attached to their hips, and they're carrying their hacking sticks, but they have now rocks, stones. And I don't understand what they're saying, because they're speaking Maasai, they're not speaking Swahili. And they said that apparently somebody hit their animal, and their animals are more important to them than even women. Women are like property to them many times, and animals are how they do wealth in exchange of dowries and things like that. So anyway, I just start praying the spirit, and 3 warriors had their head in me in the door. And the Lord said, keep your eye, watch the spirit of the leader who's leading this stone. They're going to stone you. And I said, Lord, you're going to have to take care of those warriors and get them off of me. And next thing I know, they're on top of the hill. So I know he sent angels to push them up the hill. Dan was very calm and praying in the spirit, and our driver. The long story short is they were going to stone us because someone that looked like us killed their animal. And so we negotiated with them and gave them some money, and then they parted like the Red Sea, and we were able to go through.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Witch doctors, Maasai warriors. Mm-hmm. Got to walk down the middle of between them. Wow. I know when I was in Kenya, unfortunately, not at the same time you were, but I saw this, and then we had some Maasai Warriors people come to the meeting that had been saved.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, they're scary. You look at them and you should tremble.
Mhm.
Wow.
Mhm.
How many years have you been ministering in Kenya now?
Okay, I went first time in 2013, so it's 8 years.
8 years. Mm.
Yeah, I was 60 when I went, 60 years old when I took my first trip.
You're saying how old you are.
I'm
Tell the
68.
You know, I had gotten a message from Bishop Bawa in Zimbabwe, Africa today. And in that, he was telling us, asking us to pray, because it seems for no reason, the government has decided in Harare, in that area, to go around destroying buildings of the people, the churches, just demolishing them. It's incomprehensible. They don't get any money from it. They get nothing. What is that, Hannah? And is that prevalent across Africa, that spirit, that attitude in governments?
Yes, that spirit is very prevalent in Africa. First of all, I want to say that many of the European countries and now China are trying to think they own, and they slice and dice Africa for their own gain. The Africans get nothing. So the Africans are very divided. I always say, if Africa of 52 countries decides ever to unite, we're screwed in the West. But yeah, it's the powers. And in Harare, I know they just erected a statue of a medium. And they're allowed to have witchcraft and anything they want. Just like here in the United States, we have an ungodly person in the White House who are doing everything. So what we do is we release the principalities and powers of the demonic, because to build what they have on this earth. Because when Satan was struck like lightning from heaven, he took his throne on the earth. And that's what we're battling. We're battling the principalities and powers who want to destroy these nations.
Wow. Well, people, we have authority in prayer.
Amen.
We need to come in agreement, not just for there, but for the persecuted church throughout the world. Very real things are happening. People are dying. People are being maimed, and just absolutely the word of God, the presence of God, they are trying to obliterate. So we need to unite in prayer. This is very real. And if you don't think it's happening in America, wake up. It's sneaking up on you. And sometimes it's just in our face. But is it not true, Hannah, that we're told in the Bible, think it not strange, the fiery trials that come your way, that we don't battle against flesh and blood, but we battle in the spirit realm.
I think we're very ignorant in many ways in the American church of the satanic ritual abuse here.
Well, let me say, ignorant literally means lack of knowledge. You're not calling names.
No, I'm not calling it. I'm just saying we're very ignorant of what is really going on in the spirit realm here in America. We surround ourselves with, no, I'm not calling anybody ignorant. The thing is that what I love about it is God has totally equipped us and totally sent the angels equipped to help us. So we need to learn how to activate, not look at the dark or the demons, but what has God provided? And it's in our secret place, in our war room secretly, where he gives us strategy, equipment, and everything to go out. And we must understand our authority and peace, that we're not fearful when any demonic. I remember I had 3 principalities come into my room. I was not a bit afraid because my angels were there.
Yeah.
I got strategy.
Yeah.
We need to begin to rise up and understand that, and not move in fear, because God has given us everything we need to take on. If he assigned you, you're ready.
Oh, wow. I think we need some lessons here. You were in Kenya for a year when COVID hit.
Yes.
And you came home. You ended up coming home.
Yeah.
And then God detained you here
Yes.
Actually, just what you were sharing with us about spiritual warfare, about what is going on in the spirit, to make, it actually has used you in a bunch of ways, is that not correct, to help make people aware of this and give them some insight and help in knowing what to do?
Yes, yes. I realized that I was going to, it's the longest I had been home. I actually was there for a lot of COVID. I came home in September when they were semi-open, and I came home. And when I realized I was going to be delayed here more than just a couple weeks or just a couple months, I said, okay, Lord, what's my assignment? And he always gives you he gave me several courses I had to take, like Unmasking Jezebel and Decoding the War Room of Heaven. And what it did is my knowledge of things that I like, water demons and stuff, bishops and stuff will consult me here on that. And then I also began to realize I needed to start to raise up some people here to train them in that very thing. And it's interesting because we have had to go do house cleanings where there was ritualistic abuse, where there was this kind of things. And my team does not go in fear because they're learning their authority, even though they were totally green at this. They had never done this before, but he gave me that ability to raise up, to train and give them confidence that God is in this and we can do this. And we're seeing miraculous breakthroughs and changes because of that.
Would this be correct? I believe I've experienced this. Your flesh may tremble, but your spirit is strong and charges forward.
Oh, I tell the people, you don't know how many times my stomach is roiling and my knees are knocking and my feet are shaking. And I'm thinking, I don't want to put on my big girl pants today. I want somebody else to be the adult.
Yeah.
But we realize he's asking us.
Yes.
And if you ask us, oh yes, I cannot tell you how many times I am thinking, I have no clue.
What am I doing?
Exactly. Who assigned me this?
Oh yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I guess I wanted to bring that up because I had to really reach a place to overcome, just because I feel something in my flesh.
Yeah.
And the enemy wants to make me think I don't trust God.
Exactly.
But the trusting God is going forward in the face of your fear, in the face of what your flesh, because like you did, good grief, I'm 60 years old and you go to Africa and then you keep going to Africa and where in Pennsylvania did you truly in those years face witches and murderers and blah, all that stuff? Now I know in deliverance that you dealt with those, but still that's not the normal thing for the life you lived. So there you are.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because the Lord told me to start to study things and to look at that. And I was in a church leadership, and it was a Mennonite church plant. So you kind of what you would say. And the pastor asked me if we would start working with this girl. Well, here she was a victim of satanic ritual abuse for years. And when we would be working with him, they would be outside waiting to kidnap her, to take her in. And so we had to learn, how do we deal with this? And Lord, teach us what we need to know. So it came to my door. I didn't go looking for it. It came to me.
Well, that's pretty scriptural. Some people think they have to go out and search down demons and fight with them. Jesus never did that. He dealt with what came to him.
Exactly.
So you're preparing to go back to Kenya.
I am.
So tell us about your preparations. And also, as you do this, I understand that you have 3 very important programs that you have established in Kenya to help the people that, instead of giving them fish, teaching them how to fish in various ways.
Yeah.
So if you could tell us about your preparations for going back and how people can get involved.
Okay. Okay, first thing I want to do is I have microfines and I have a bunch of micronutrients, which are like super vitamins, and I'm trying to actually now ship them ahead of me.
Okay.
There's a company we found in California that is a Kenyan. It's going to be quite pricey, but I would like to be able to do that. What I do is I prepare myself, Lord, what do you need me to do? At this point, there is a woman coming from Florida who's going to be with me. She had been there 4 months with me before. She's probably going to stay a year with me. Possibility I have 2 coming for a short term. They'll come over with us. We'll do a conference, and then I'll take them on a safari to the Maasai Mara and then send them back. That's what I'm thinking right now. But I've learned, when you do these missions, it's not like your photo op where you're in and out 2 weeks. God puts the timing, and
Yeah.
God does it to protect you and to maximize what is you do. So at this point, I think I'm going back and staying a year, but it's in the hands of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about the ongoing programs, even in your absence, that are there. And is there one particular one that you would like to focus on for people to get involved with?
Well, it should be no shock to people that I really love to raise up leaders and I love to train.
Uh-huh.
A master teacher loves to see the students go way beyond, and that's what you prepare them for. So what happened was we did a lot of work in the universities with the young people. In fact, we were called to scenes of violence and stuff to settle things. So they were looking for a gap year to come and study with us. When they had graduated college, these are college graduates, and often it's really behooves them to get into a paying job because they spent all this money and all the poverty. So they began to come to us, and we set up a training school where we just began to train in not only ministry, but even like what would happen if you get arrested, what happens when martyrdom comes, the cultural mountains, breaking that, getting involved in the culture mountains. And what I began to realize is that all of our students have degrees in either business, banking, or finance. So I went before the Lord, and he said, student endeavors. So what I began to do is catch their visions of what they wanted to do in business, and they had to give me goals, mission statement, and they had to give me a proposal. And as of date, with prayer and promoting this, we have 4 businesses up and running. Of this, and they're student owned. They're not owned by me. And what I say to them is, I put this seed of money into you, then you don't ask me for another penny. You learn to make it go, and you must tithe to the local church. And when you recoup that, you pay it forward to the next student. So that to me is exciting. That's really close to my heart.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
We will have a link on the bottom of this interview that will tell you how that you can invest in the kingdom through this.
Yeah.
Hannah Hunter is right now in Pennsylvania and preparing to go back into I've been in Africa. When you're there for short term, when you're there, you don't realize what's going on around you because you're focused in what God's doing.
Yes.
But people in Africa, missionaries in Africa, definitely part of the persecuted church.
Yes.
Lives are in danger. I've seen people get arrested for no reason. And we don't understand. We don't understand. America, we need to wake up, and we need to be in prayer, and we need to be supporting those people around the world, in the US. I didn't even know how to go where what I feel inside of me. I just want to send, through your interview today, a wake-up call to Christians in America to pray, to support, to invest in what God's doing around the world, your community, and around the world. So Hannah, what would you like to leave us with today?
Okay, I want to say something at that, Cheryl. As a little girl, I remember reading Martyr's Mirror and being very afraid. What if this ever happens to me? And I want to tell you, first of all, you are safest in the center of his will, whether you're here or there, because I remember a time when I was going into Tanzania, to where some of the worst witchcraft is known. And I was detained. They took my car, they took everything. I was held by the Kenyans, and then I was held by the Tanzanians and it was a funny story on that is my team was outside praying because I was separated from all that with all the threats going on and everything. And when I was finally released after, I don't know how long of a period, it was hours and hours. My team said, well, we were about ready to sing like Paul and Silas till the walls fell down. I can tell you that as I was being detained, the face of Jesus and the voice of Jesus was like never before. And he held, the terror was out here, but the peace was here. And I remember saying to the Lord, my son is getting married and they already lost their father. I want to go home. And he said, daughter, if you turn back at this point, I will not be disappointed, but I have a mission for you. And at that point, they let Dan come back and I said, let's go forward. And I will tell you that the peace that came over me when I
Wow.
saw the face of Jesus and heard his voice. And a quick story is that I raised a person from the dead by going forward.
Oh my
And
goodness,
that
Lord
country
Jesus.
had, and the pastor was bound up by witchcraft, paralyzed. He was dancing by the time we left. And I asked him, what's your greatest need? He said, we're in terrible drought here. No rain has fallen. And I said, before this day, because the Lord said to me, because you passed through this in obedience, you can prophesy anything and I will do it. And I said, before we leave this, before this day is over, the rain will fall. We got on the bus to run because they'd taken my car, my money and everything. And as we were riding, the worship leader turned and said, Mom, look, here comes the rain. It was dancing. See, God does things in delight. It was dancing. And he said, open the window and smell. And it smelled like lavender, my most favorite scent. It rained. The people were calling and dancing in the streets. We get to the border 2 kilometers and the driver says, you have to walk. And I'm thinking, oh, we are so tired. We haven't had enough food and we have to take our luggage. I said, but Lord, I am not saying anything because these people need the rain. As soon as the bus driver opened the door, the rain stopped and we walked through on dry land till we got to customs. That's the goodness of the God we serve in the face of persecution.
So is it only in a foreign country on strange soil that God will do these things? No.
Now I see him do them here. My team has a joke, as do my sons. Don't even take Mom out to eat because she'll hold a deliverance or healing session. You can't even send her to the bathroom.
Yeah, yeah, that's the truth.
It's just believing God and walking out. It's leaving your house each day. Okay, Lord, who needs to be intercepted with you?
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Hannah. I look forward to more adventures here and abroad.
Yeah.
Be sure to look on the bottom here to see how you can get involved in what Hannah's doing around the world for the Lord. Thank you, and come back soon. Goodbye.
It was my pleasure. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks so much for watching TMCI TV. If you found any benefit in this episode, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date with our future videos. If you are interested in planning a church, starting a ministry, or looking for 501c3 tax exemption status for your existing church or ministry, TMCI can help. Click the link in the description below for more information. We look forward to hearing from you soon. God bless.